Um, Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Bass, and I am the coordinator of Teach the Young initiative. So I want to seize this opportunity to also embrace our diversity, because I believe that each and every one of us is from different parts of the continent, and each of us have different goals and aspirations, and some of us have started certain endeavors, and some of us are doing businesses, and some of us are also running non-profit organizations which have been shaping the communities and making a difference and transforming the lives of the youths, women, and also the old people too, and also making our communities better than we found them. So, as we all know that times have changed, and we also have to recognize how times have changed, because we cannot continue to stick to the past while claiming that we want the future to be bright. In order for the future to be bright, we have to do what we have not done before, and that is, we have to be willing to change. And in order for us to change, that means we have to be open to new ideas and new methods and new techniques and new ways of doing things. Some people will assume that the old ways are working. That is true in some cases, but it's not the case all the time. The case today is whether we are ready to stand up, to recognize that this is 2019. We have had so many troubling histories of the past, and this history cannot continue because we did nothing. Because we want to say that someday in the future that we have done our part, and we want it to be said about us in the next generation that this generation has been willing to meet their responsibilities. And when we meet our responsibilities, when we stand up firm and stand for something, when we build up strength, I see no reason why we cannot prosper in this decade. I see no reason why Africa will lag behind in this decade. I see no reason why the people will not rise up to fulfill their fullest potential. I know some of you will often say, well, you talk about all these positive and inspiring ideas, but yet still the challenges are on the ground, because most of the people lack finances, they lack opportunities, they lack jobs, and most of the schools are failing schools. Their curriculums are not good. Well, that is all true. I know for sure, because I have lived that kind of life. I understood the challenges that most people on the ground face. And I know that this thing can be changed, because most of our problems are man-made, and no problem is beyond human destiny. We can solve this problem. We can change the narrative. We can build the new Africa. But in order for this to be possible, we have to change our habits. We have to stop fighting each other. We have to embrace change. We don't have to stand in the way of progress. We have to be willing to support one another. That is why we created this platform, Teach the Young initiative, to bring people together, talented minds, creative minds, to be able to solve the problems that Africa faces right now and beyond. And we can do this because we are a majority. When we come together, we stand as one, we begin to work together. I'm not saying that if you're working on a project, you leave that project undone. No. What I'm saying is, I want you to come to join forces. We work together. Because if you are working on a project, there's somebody in some part of the world who is already doing what you're already doing. Probably is even doing it better than you are doing. Or probably is even doing a business that is working and you are just starting. So we want to see an exchange and communicate these ideas so that we can help lift each other up. That is how we will help Africa move. But it cannot move because the people are not willing to do their duties. So now I want all of us to summon courage, to be in that spirit of unity, to unite against the common challenges that the people face right now. We have the problems of violence, the problems of injustice, the problems of illiteracy, the problems of hunger. All these things, we can solve them, and they can be solved, and we must solve them, because we are the heirs and the beneficiaries of those that came before us, who are willing to sacrifice their lives, their material, their possessions, to get us to where we are today. And we who are now living here, who are the direct descendants of these people who laid down their lives to set us free, we cannot continue to enjoy the blessings of freedom, liberty, while people continue to suffer in our midst. Today, you look at the society that we are in. It's divided between the poor and the rich. It's divided between classes. It's divided between religion. It's divided between tribes. We have to remember that. We have to remember that we are created by one God, the same God, the God of the universe. He's a God of variety. That is why we have differences, and there will always be differences. That is what makes this world better, because we have to be different, so that each of us can bring their own uniqueness to make a complete whole, to make our society flourish. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. I know there are challenges, but always remember that most of these challenges that we now see, they often seem impossible to be solved. The appearance will frighten us, but there is nothing that cannot be solved by the human spirit. The human spirit have always solved the seemingly impossible. If the human spirit can defy the laws of gravity and send human beings to space and Mars and beyond, ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. If human spirit can defy the laws of time and space to be able to build cars, engines, even submarines, even aeroplanes, and even driverless cars, the use of technology to build all these things for the benefit and the progress of mankind, I think we have to learn from that. We can do these things, and I urge all of you to come together, to work together as one people, to embrace change, to step up and do what you must do in order for us to get to where we have to be. So I thank you, all of you, and hopefully we will continue this conversation, and I urge you to share this video. Make sure that you invite other people to join this conversation, because we are building a movement, and this movement will sweep across the globe, because this is a new generation of young people who are dedicated to progress, who desire to see change happen, not sometime in a later time, but we want it right now, and it has to begin by us. Each of us have something to say, each of us has something to contribute, and together we will make it happen.